out the fucking podcast? Looks like a fucking garbage can over there. Her glass, too. Her box. She's not trying to drink that anymore.
I'm not allowed. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, bud. Has to be some kind of law here, though.
He's a responsible one.
Red eye motherfucker.
All right, bud. So whoop.
Pass. What are we talking about?
I don't even know what happened this weekend.
Was there fights?
There was fights?
I think there was some good fights.
Yeah?
Yep.
I don't know. Hitting. Which one do we start with?
I don't know. Okay. When a promoter puts a fight together, he's hoping all the fights are exciting, right?
Yeah.
I guess they knocked it out the park for PBC.
Yeah. For
the Pitbull Tashiro.
Yeah.
And Benavidez Morrell.
Right.
But Figueroa and
Fulton
was not that exciting from what I heard.
Lackluster. They were following up a very exciting fight, to be fair. But
okay.
Yes.
So on the podcast, we both picked Tashiro to win.
Yeah.
I got a couple comments and messages like, bro, do you even know who Tashiro is?
Excuse.
This is Tashiro Fierro's team jacket.
Yeah.
I don't have a jacket just for no reason.
You got to earn that shit.
I knew Tashiro would make it a fucking hell of a fight. I knew he was going to make it exciting. And we went on record saying it. Shout out to Tashiro. This is where a loss is like a win.
Yeah.
Pitbull, everybody thinks he's good. He's there. Everybody thinks he's like up there, which he is. And Tashiro just showed that he belongs there too. And just a big shout out to the whole team. Tashiro, Fernando Fernandez, todo el equipo. Les quiero mandar un abrazo en trabajo. Brian Figueroa told me to do some little bit in Spanish, so
I was going to say that though, the shout out like in
Ahí
Spanish.
te va, Brian, ¿eh?
Yeah.
Ahí te va. El pinche equipo de Tashiro, desde el manejador, al entrenador, al preparador físico, al nutriólogo, todo pinche equipazo que son, and I'm just so proud of them. I'm saying everybody from the top, manager all the way down to the conditioning coach, nutritionist, I can't even talk.
Neurologist.
Translation.
Skirt.
But I was so proud of Tashiro, seeing a kid from Tijuana who struggled to make it in the game shine like that. What do you think about the fight?
Well, it's not easy, no es fácil y hay un saludo a toda la esquina y al profe Fernando Fernández, que para mí fue un muy buen trabajo ahí en la esquina. It's not easy. When you're giving that, we've spoken about it before, when you're giving that opportunity, right? That's a big stage. T-Mobile Arena on a big card. The opener of the year, the first biggest card of the year. I was like, he's got to weather this storm, because Pitbull came out fucking swinging for the fences from the beginning, and I'm like, he's just got to weather this storm. And little by little, the third round, he clipped him. He kind of lost his balance a little bit, and I was like, ooh, he got him. And that I could tell that gave him confidence. And in my opinion, he won the back half of that fight.
Yeah.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, he even outlanded him like the last 4 or 5 rounds.
Yeah.
So, obviously,
I saw the highlights. I messaged you. I said, what's going on?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, you're missing a hell of a fight. And I'm like, damn it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to him. And then I think I messaged you like when like the 4th, 5th round of Figueroa, and you're like,
yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm not going to watch that. I'm going to save my time.
Yeah.
Had a family function, so I said, I'll watch the Benavidez Morrell fight.
Yeah.
And that was worth watching.
Yeah. It was, they definitely lived up to they were fighting for, I think, like an Aztec, like warrior belt or something like that. The fight definitely lived up to that, in my opinion. It's a tough fight. And for the first time, I've only been watching Pitbull since, I think, his fight with Tank. And for the first time, I've seen him, like, even, like tired. Like, I don't even know if he's going to make it,
It's because Pitbull hasn't showed any growth. He hasn't showed any adjustments he's made. It's the same Pitbull.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I'm going to throw a fastball at you. I'm going to throw a fastball at you. I'm going to throw a fastball at you. Try to hit it.
Mm-hmm.
And, Tashiro has the that too, Tashiro's seen that a lot. That's why I said it's going to be a good fight, because Tashiro is the style that he's been used to. A lot of fighters in the United States, they don't spar guys like that. So it's so fine-tuned boxing, and you have to prepare for what you're going to face.
Right.
And you're going to face a guy that's onslaught, not coming into. And I know coaches be like, "Oh, we know." I'm speaking to the fans. Like when you prepare for a fight, you got to get somebody that simulates that kind of fighter. There's not that many guys here in that can simulate Pitbull style.
Right.
So that's why Tashiro that style isn't going to surprise him.
Right.
And he trained in altitude in Otomi, which the city of Otomi sits like at 9,000 feet above sea level. And when you run to the peak, you're running at 13,000 above sea level, So that really helped. It showed in his lungs. It showed his energy, his conditioning.
In my opinion, he was in better shape than Pitbull by the end of that fight. I
don't know where Pitbull trains at, but I know he's from Mexico City, and that city itself is at altitude.
Right.
But it's like full of pollution. And Otomi isn't. Otomi is beautiful. We've trained there before. I know what it's like. It's beautiful out there.
Clean air.
So Tashiro, mira, güey. Me ocupo otra chamarra, güey. I'm going to tag you in this.
Yeah, pero felicidades. Fue una chingonería de pelea, la verdad. It was good.
So you want to go into right now? Let's go into a couple things that we saw on the Benavidez Morrell fight. Right. First, let's set it up. Morrell, knockout artist.
Yeah. Knocking
everybody out, hurting people. Just a force to be. I think we saw him fight in
we did Minnesota.
His last fight, the last fight they did in Minnesota. That's the day that Rayo knocked out
Colbert. Colbert, yeah.
Colbert.
Yeah.
We were there.
We were on that card, yeah.
Jose fought that day on that card in Minnesota. But Morrell's just like, at the time they're talking about him as a stud.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wanted to fight him. He had a fight at 175. He didn't look too good.
Mm-hmm.
But he won. Benavidez, we all know who he is. We know what he is. But also, he hasn't fought big. His biggest win is Caleb Plant.
Right.
Respectable. He's fought. I thought Demetrius Andrade was a good win.
This is a good one, too. Those are two
big names. Andrade is a guy nobody wanted to fight.
He was undefeated as well.
So Benavidez has more experience on the high level.
Yeah.
At the top, and Morrell. It was funny after the fight was over. I was watching the post conference. Is it called post or press?
Yeah, post fight.
Post.
Yeah, post fight press conference.
I don't even know what they're called, and I go to them.
Whatever.
And they asked Morrell. They asked Ronnie Shields, his trainer. Morrell didn't say nothing. How did he feel about the fight? And he says, "Well, you know what? Our fighter only has 13 fights. I'm so proud of him." And I hate when I hear that, because if he would have won, you wouldn't have said that.
Right.
But now that he lost, now you're setting up all his excuses.
Right.
He's not. Let's not forget, Morrell, when you look at amateur pedigrees, Morrell just passes up Benavidez an amateur. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter about your amateur record. I don't even know how many fights Benavidez had, but I know he wasn't a national champion. I know he didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
And I know...
I don't even think he has an amateur.
Yeah, he had like 8 or 10 fights. Yeah. But Morrell was an international champion in the worlds. He won a couple of international tournaments and had this all-out amateur experience from Cuba. Doesn't matter in the pros.
Yeah.
It doesn't fucking matter. Yeah, you can fight, but it all comes down to huevos, mindset.
There's a lot more that comes with pro boxing than amateur boxing.
Pity pat. Yeah. And Morrell's not a pity pat fighter.
Yeah.
Watching Morrell backpedal was like weird.
It's interesting, huh?
Yeah.
That's why I was like, Benavidez knew that. He had to dog him out. He had to be the bigger fucking dog, because he also, Morrell, I thought they were going to clash a little bit more, but from the get-go, who was it? I can't remember who says that. I can always tell from the beginning. I think it's Adam. From the get-go, you could tell. I was like,
adjustments?
Yeah. I was like, Benavidez is going to fucking walk him down the whole fight. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. And it was weird to see him backpedaling, because I don't even think I've ever seen him fight like that. Does he know how to fight like that? That's a different conditioning, in my opinion, when you're fighting backward the whole time, especially if you're not used to it. Taking those shots, it's tough.
It's that's mental warfare.
And then Benavidez pretty much walking through your shots. When you're used to
it. And I think that they expected Benavidez to come on in the second half.
Yeah.
And it was about adjustments. I was surprised when Benavidez carried that tempo for all of them. He took like 2 rounds off.
Yeah. Yeah.
But even though when he took those rounds off, he always sealed the round. He closed the round off.
Right.
there was a knockdown. I forgot what round it was.
Quote unquote 11th.
11th.
Yeah.
And, you know, to me, Thomas Taylor's one of my favorite referees right now. He took a point off at the end of the round because there was an exchange and the bell rang. And people were saying that, a lot of people say that it was fucked up because there was no warnings.
Yeah.
But and there's a before the fight starts, you're in the locker room when you're rapping, referees come in and they lay down the
whole
rules.
Spiel. Yep.
They tell you that there won't be if they want to, you're being warned in the locker room not to hit after the bell. I think they take that a little bit more serious than a low blow.
Yeah.
Don't hit when the bell's over. And when the reason he said, I know they were both throwing and Benavidez was in the middle of an exchange, but as soon as he does this.
Yep. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
And he did that and he threw the punch right over him.
And it stunned him.
It hurt him. Yeah. Especially because his hands came down.
Yep.
He saw the referee coming in.
Yep.
And he got hit and the point taken away is good because it's like justice because that wasn't a real knockdown.
Right.
And it was even round. It doesn't matter if he was knocked down anyways. He was still was going to win the fight regardless. But
right. I think people got to understand. A lot of people are like, oh, the ref, this and that. No, every ref has there's some that have the one thing that do not do it. Otherwise, I'm fucking taking a point away. And, those who obviously have been there backstage or fucking corner or whatever, you know that and you understand that. So that's he gave you your warning already.
Thomas Taylor does not fuck around.
He does not fuck around.
Yeah, if he tells you something, it's gonna happen. Yeah, he doesn't fuck around. I love that about him.
Yeah, I agree. I love that too. But yeah, that knockdown was and it's funny because hats off to David Benavidez for not throwing a temper tantrum about it, knowing that wasn't a knockdown. He got caught off balance, and then their feet kind of were tangled up.
No, and then I heard at the end of the round, they said that the replay officials said it was a knockdown. I was like, what the fuck they see?
That's true. I remember that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know. I think it's like the heat of the moment kind of thing. I think people let shit.
There's influences too. Luis DeCubas is PBC.
Right.
And Luis DeCubas is part of the managing team for Morrell.
Yeah.
And you can hear him through the whole fight.
Yeah.
Ya está cansado. Ya, se vació. And this and that. I can hear him through the fight and know his voice.
Yeah.
That knockdown was probably influenced by him.
Yeah.
Let's be real. Does he pay the judges? No, but when he's putting the event up with Al Heyman, he's running Al Heyman's company, him and his son. They have an influence on the judges. So the judges was like, that's a knockdown. We got to do anything to make that fight a draw or something, but it wasn't going to be a draw. He was winning by too many rounds.
Not at all. Yeah. Benavidez had that shit in the bag from the very beginning. I don't know if I would even maybe round here and there for Morrell, but what a fight for him. A lot of people, they already ask you what's next. Man, that kid, I just see him. There's just something about him. He's like, I don't fucking know how, but I'm gonna win this fight, and I love that.
I think it comes down to I don't know, just the mindset from because his brother was the same way, but his brother made some bad choices outside the ring, and you can tell David was gonna make some too, but he snapped right back into life.
Right.
And we can't blame the ignorance of youth, and we all fucked up somehow, some way.
I know I did.
And Benavidez David, he found his feet again.
Yeah.
And Jose didn't. Jose's a hell of a fighter with bullets in his leg. That he still fought. I think Crawford and
I think he had already
Thurman
been shot.
Somebody, yeah, he'd been shot. Yeah,
he fought one of the Charlos.
I'm so sorry, Charlos. Yeah, and like that. That comes from the mindset of he's probably thinking my brother's fighting with a bullet in his leg. Why can't I fucking fight?
Right.
They're that kind of I call it a good stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
Good stubborn, super fucking won't back down.
Right.
That's the way he fights, and that starts from the father down to the family.
They're very mentally
Speaking
strong.
of the father,
yeah,
I saw something I really loved in that fight when he was cornering his son.
Yeah,
and I used to see Eddie Reynoso do it, and he kind of stopped doing it, but I did it because of Eddie.
Yeah,
he worked his fighters' cuts,
mm-hmm.
and I don't know where all this started with Cutman and stuff like that. Hey, mad respect. You guys get your money, do what you got to do. But I feel in a moment when the fighters cut,
mm-hmm.
I feel like if you're on the outside of the apron giving instructions, it's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
The Cutman doesn't know your fighter.
Yeah.
Not like you do.
Right.
And Jose Benavidez Sr. never lost his spot. He was talking to his son, working the cuts. I think it was an abrasion and he got cut in the other eye.
Yeah.
And he never lost his slot. He was always there in front of his son, communicating with his son. You don't know how much influence that has on his son.
Right.
If he's out, is it the same conversation? You know?
Right.
And I watched when Eddie did it with Canelo when he fought Golovkin the first time.
Yeah.
He worked the cuts.
Yeah.
And he's worked all his cuts. And then recently he stopped doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that a well-rounded coach should be able to wrap hands, work the cuts,
Yeah.
and work the corner.
Right.
You know, not have a minor role, have another guy come and wrap your fighter's hands, another guy work your fighter's cuts. That's like an old school trainer.
Yeah.
You know, I understand. People gonna talk shit, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, a rap's a rap, dog.
No, but you know what? You make a great point because the way I saw it, I was like, you know what? A relationship between a fighter and his coach, I think has to be number one, right? You get to know each other. And when the fighter sees you and he knows that, you know, he has a cut or whatever, but he sees that you're calm, you're cool, you're collected. Hey, let's just fucking focus on what we got to focus on. That gives them that more confidence. You know them. They know you. They can read your body language and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was an interesting perspective that I hadn't considered before. But yeah, hats off to him. He's a cool dude. I had a couple conversations with him, and I think they're doing the right thing.
He picked your brain one time, huh?
Yeah.
What's your role, Maggie?
Yeah, he was like, "What do you do?" Oh, sports psychology, you know, this and that. And we started talking about the art of war, and I was like, oh, this dude reads, like he knows his shit. He's they're doing the right thing, you know.
Yeah.
There's sometimes you're gonna ruffle feathers, but when you're at the top, everything's dissected. It's gonna happen.
What's it called? What do you say that word?
You're
Telescope?
You're under a microscope.
Microscope.
Always when you're.
But
when
you
you're
say right
there.
or wrong.
Yeah, don't fucking matter. Somebody's gonna think it's right. Somebody's gonna think it's wrong. So you're never gonna please everybody, man.
We all cook different.
Yeah, but hats off to that's a huge win. That's a big win.
You know, I don't really watch post fight interviews, but I don't know why I wanted to watch this one.
Yeah.
And I watched Luis DeCubas. Did you watch it?
I watched like a clip. I know that they were arguing.
Talking shit. Yeah,
right.
like still, you don't even fight, dog. And he's talking about Roberto Duran. That was 40 years ago. Like I was with Roberto Duran. Okay, that's cool. Roberto Duran, one of the fucking greatest ever. I understand. You had your time to shine. Now it's this guy's time to shine.
Yeah.
You know, like. But that's egos, man. Like that motherfucker has an ego. I'm Luis DeCubas. You know, yeah. And I probably won't get on a fight on PBC just because I said that. But that's what it is. It's like these people, you're not a fighter. You're not a cornerman. I don't even know what his role is, but you always hear Los de Cuba, Luisito de Cuba. And man, they're just guys that got there for whatever reason. You're not fighting.
Yeah.
So don't start a fight.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do. What if in that moment, even if fucking Benavidez just pushes them back, they'll fucking fall over, you know?
You're going to get sued,
like,
too. That's the fucked up part.
Yeah, what's this whole point of this argument? Like know your role.
You got beat, dude.
Yeah, you got beat. And you brought in Morrell.
Yeah.
And, you know, it just shows you that styles make fights, man. And Morrell's going to bounce back. He's a beast.
He's young.
He's a beast.
Yeah. He is. He's good, man.
But Benavidez is
just a little more beastier.
He's climbing up. Canelo, you're going to have to face him one day, dog.
Yeah, man. Let's see it.
Pay him.
We'll see what happens. Hopefully, man, that'd be good for him to fight one of the winners of this.
You know what? I noticed in this fight about RoboCop. That's what they call him. RoboCop.
That's what they call him, man.
Yeah, RoboCop. Benavidez. His defense isn't the most beautiful, but it's effective.
It's effective. It works for him.
That's why he got shoved down because he had his hands here. He was, chilling. I did a video on for the gym one time in the arena about blocking shots, and every fucking expert said lean back, roll under.
Yeah,
but none of these guys know what it's like to fight. Sometimes you have nothing, not even a second to roll under that shit.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta bite back and hold that shit up there, you know.
Yeah.
And I always be like, okay, you're cool. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, roll under it, lean back. I understand. I would do that too.
Yeah.
But there's moments you cannot do that.
Yeah.
You cannot do that. You gotta know how to block tight and work on the defense,
right.
You know, talk on the phone.
Mm-hmm. Take as much steam as you can away from it, man.
Because it's coming. It's coming and you can't roll under.
Yeah.
You can't dodge 8 punches. And this guy gets a little momentum and he just starts throwing all kinds of shots. It's kind of like, it's hard to roll under. And every time you roll under as you come up, that's when watch the greatest knockouts in boxing, somebody's rolling under and coming up.
Yeah.
You know, it's that's when you take a risk.
Because there's a second where you probably can't see shit, honestly. And that's that second where you get...
So I mean, I touched on Luis DeCubas' little
rant.
Talking about Roberto Duran. Have you seen Duran? How old he is now? Like, come on, dog. That's a long time ago. I wouldn't even bring that up.
I don't know. It reminds me of Bonilla a little bit.
I think they wanted to make Morrell the new Duran.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think it's better. I think it's more possible for David Benavidez than it is for
Morrell. He's angry. He fights with anger.
Yeah.
He fights with emotion.
Yeah.
And I heard the commentator say, does he know that RoboCop is badass? Like, RoboCop is no joke.
Yeah. But
all you young guys go Google RoboCop the movie. He was a human that became a robot. The first Elon Musk.
Oh shit! Fuck, man, that dude's a trip, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know too much. You know, I don't be in the news and shit.
I want to give a shout out to Eddie Reynoso and No Boxing No Life, Saul Rios, Boristeca. They're doing a show this Saturday. I think I'll put the poster up there.
November 8th.
A lot of the promising athletes from February 8th.
Yeah, I said November 8th.
February 8th,
Saturday.
Along with No Boxing No Life and Boristeca and all those little group of teams. They're taking some of the best fighters out of San Diego, Tijuana, and different parts of the, and they're doing a show here at the Sheraton 4 Points. We'll put the poster up so you guys can see it and go support these fighters up there, promising fighters. We'll be We're not fighting on that card. We're going to be fighting next week we're working with Victor Flores, and Javin will be fighting for the WBC Youth against Dante.
I can't remember his last name.
I can't pronounce it. I know it, but we'll put the poster next week for that one. But yeah, go support all these young fighters, man, because they're gonna be. I'm gonna put a tag for Javin's fight because Javin's fight will be
It'll be on like a pay-per-view
stream.
Yeah,
won't be a lot, but you guys support all our fighters, please.
Yeah.
And another thing too is the female boxing, women's boxing.
Yeah.
On February 15th at the Apex Gym in National City, my barrio, are going to be doing.
You said a pop-up, but it's like sparring, right?
Pop-up sparring.
Yeah.
Yeah. My boy Tim Pablo is the guy at the gym there and grew up with me in National City. I won't be there because we'll be in our weigh-ins.
We'll be at the weigh-ins.
We'll be in Oregon, but I would have loved to be there and support all those guys out there, Kiki Diaz and Tim Pablo and a lot of the guys that I know that are right there from the community and National Biddy.
Yeah, we'll be freezing our ass off in Oregon.
It's going to be cold, huh?
It's going to be cold. Yeah, man.
Anything else? We have some more. I feel like we had to say something else, man.
Yeah, I know. And I said too, I was like, oh, we don't forget. But yeah, it was a good weekend. Good weekend of fights. Yeah, unfortunately. Oh, Carmel fought. I think he was the opener. I watched it.
Yeah.
I watched it. It was on the YouTube stream.
Knockout?
Yeah, it was like TKO, I guess you would say.
Overwhelmed the kid.
Overwhelmed him.
Carmel's not going to be a small fighter, huh? He's going to end up being a 140-pounder pretty soon, huh?
That was 135.
Because he's what is he, like 19?
If
20,
that.
19? Yeah,
he's like 18, 19.
He's already 135. I remember when he debuted, he was 126, I think.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
It seems like every fight he's moving up a weight division.
Mm-hmm. This one was at 135, if I'm not mistaken. And
but you know what?
Good.
He's tiny.
Yeah, he's short.
He's short.
Like 5'4". I don't even know.
Look what Tank's doing. So
yeah, exactly. Well, he's with the right people. It's funny because you look at the comments, you're like, oh, did he make weight this time? It's like, dude, you're dealing with the kid who's growing up. He's literally probably hitting his second growth spurt.
He's not even developing his muscles yet.
He hasn't even finished puberty. So yeah, I can't blame the kid. He's still young in his career. Was it unprofessional? Sure, yes, whatever you want to say. But man, it's a small hiccup.
I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
How did Ramos do?
I didn't watch. I know. I think he had a TKO as well.
TKO. He fought that kid from Dominican Republic or something like that?
Yeah.
I saw a post. I think Xavier Orozco, who we follow each other on Facebook, said something like, they don't even belong in. Don't quote me. Orozco's we follow each other. So something like he don't even belong there or something. I'll read the text and I'll try to post it up there. But I think I read through there that he was dominating him.
I believe this fight was at 160 though, and he's a 154. He's like, I'm going back to 154. I don't know if this was last minute or what.
Oh, okay.
I'm not really sure. But yeah, he did take the W. That kid, he's one to look out for too. He's good people. Good boxer. I think he had that one decision loss that, it is what it is.
Before we end the podcast, I want to bring up Maurice Hooker.
Yeah.
Today we were sparring him, and he was sparring Javin, and he was sparring Jose and Javin, but Javin's fighting for the WBC youth title, and he was giving Javin advice, and that really made me like very proud, to see Maurice. I didn't even butt in. I just walked away, let him talk, but he was giving Javin a lot of advice on what to do and how to do it, and it's huge for a former world champion to give a young fighter advice like that. And even Coach Vince Parra,
right?
He was giving Javin advice. You know me, I don't let nobody tell them shit. Like, not even advice, not even if it's friendly.
Right.
But I know Vince for over 30 years, and and Maurice I've known since we started working with Vince, and they're both a class act. They come and spar at the gym. And that just got me today when I watched Maurice, a former world champion, just get in Javin's ear and give him those comments and kind of like motivating him to step up, And I was going to take a picture of them talking, but I was like, nah, let it be their moment.
Yeah.
Let it be their moment. I'm starting to become one of those young teenagers. Let me take a picture of everything. And I'm like, nah, I'm old school, dog. Let them embrace them.
Yeah.
Let them enjoy that moment together. How do you feel about that one?
You know what? I saw that too. And it was right after their sparring, and that's a blessing. And the reason I say that is because that means that they give a fuck. That means that they see something. You know what I'm saying? And this isn't just this. These are, yes, we see them every now and then. We'll spar them, for like, let's say like a month here and there. They'll come like once or twice a week. And this isn't just fucking people that This is outside. Look at it from outside looking in. They don't get to see you every single day, but still, they see something in you. Yeah. They know. Maurice has sparred countless amount of times. He sees something. He has mentioned it.
Yeah, he tells me, "Hey, coach, he's getting better. Hey, coach, I see him doing this. Hey, coach, I see him doing that." And we don't purposely prepare for to beat up Maurice, but we prepare to challenge ourselves against Maurice. You know, I think one of the hardest things for young fighters to do in the pros is to get comfortable in the fire.
Yeah.
And once the fighter knows how to get comfortable and relax, those words are like, those are the hardest things to conquer in boxing. Is
Absolutely.
To stay calm. Once they can do that, and they're not far away from doing that, but once they can stay calm and embrace the fire, embrace the chaos, they'll level up. And a lot of fighters are afraid to. I see a lot of fighters out there just touching, patting, and everything's away. And when they get forced to fight, they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm matching these kids hard, because there's going to come a time they're going to fight hard and they won't feel lost.
Exactly. And you got to find your own way. One thing doesn't work for everybody, right? And I'll briefly bring up Clarissa. She's now she's undisputed at heavyweight. I didn't even fucking watch the fight.
I didn't watch it either.
I didn't watch it, but I think she is. Congratulations if she is. But yeah, I missed that one. They televised.
That was on Sunday, no?
Yesterday, yeah. But I did see a clip of her in her locker room.
Yeah.
She was I saw the clip of the knockdown, but I did see her in her locker room. And man, she was having a party in there. She was dancing, not dancing. She was getting her hands wrapped, but she was rapping to the song, enjoying it. But she had a shit ton of people in there. Now, there's some people who can't do that. Yeah. It doesn't work for them, but it works for her. That's the way that she embraces that. But hey, look where she's at. You know what I'm saying?
She's arguably like one of the best chicks. I'm not ever. She is.
Yeah.
Because she's done, I think, 2 Olympic gold medals.
Right.
Champion in different weight divisions.
Right.
And she's fought in MMA.
Yeah.
She didn't care about what she did in MMA. Like, I'm not saying that, but she knew that wasn't her
realm. Yeah.
And she jumped in there.
Yeah. And not easy to do. But, and that was my point, is that like you got to make it work for you. Certain things might not work for you. Certain things might work for you. But you got to figure it out, man. You got to embrace that chaos. I think David Benavidez is a great example of that. You know what I mean? He's learned to love that position of that pressure,
Yeah, I admire that.
That's huge. In the pros, man, it's not just about how fucking hard you hit. We preach that shit to the guys all the time. It's not just about how hard you hit or how fucking fast you are. It's really like you get guys who are undefeated, and then you take them to Vegas under the big fucking lights. Let's see how you perform there. you know? Like, where's your mind at that point? Can you tell yourself to calm down and perform like you need to?
Well, there's a big difference in walking to a small venue that sits 600 people and you can, see the roof when you walk in. That's the first thing I thought when I walked into one of the T-Mobile or MGM. I forgot where it was at. When I can't see the roof.
Yeah. And it's cold, man.
Yeah, it's cold in there.
It's cold.
What the fuck is the roof at?
You're like, holy shit. I just hope I don't trip and fall before I make it to the ring.
When you see 15 cops on the way to the ring, you're in a big venue.
You're in a big venue. And it's a beautiful thing, man. But absolutely, if you're an aspiring fighter, you got to learn to see what works for you, and mentally, especially, that is a big, huge component. So learning to stay calm in that fire that you're talking about, that is a huge accomplishment as a fighter, I think. Yeah.
On that note, follow, like, comment, subscribe, mensajes, lo que quieran, comenten.
Sí.
Agréguenle un likey. I'm no sabo. And not a no sabo, dog. And please, guys, any questions you guys have, hit us up.
Any subjects, don't matter, boxing related or not.
Pink gloves.
This has been a Point in Yo production. Yeah, I think the words, but sometimes they don't come out of my mouth no good.